All right, so it's time to turn it over to our demo experts. And so we're going to start with Melissa, then going on to Ellen, and then on to Nancy. So let's give it up for our demonstrators tonight, our director demonstrators. Thank you. Dinner with directors.
I am making my favorite side dish, not only for Thanksgiving, but for Christmas, for Easter, pretty much any special occasion. Green bean casserole is my favorite. So, and I was happy to find out on our local news today that it is the official side dish of Thanksgiving for Ohio. So there you go. But what I like about this recipe is it actually starts out on the stove. So it cuts down on your cooking time. And basically I have, in our Chef Series cookware here, I have 3 tablespoons of butter. And then you just add a half a cup of onion. You add 2 cups of sliced mushrooms. But I have some people in my family that are a little picky on mushrooms. So I did mine just a little bit smaller than that. I think I've still got my oven or my stove heating up here. But basically what you're going to do is you're just going to soften the onions and the mushrooms. And then once you do that, you're going to add your green beans. Now, me personally, I did a little over 3 cups of green beans. I like my vegetables al dente, but with green beans, I like them like my grandma made them. And my grandma would cook them all day long. And I don't have the time to do that. So I actually use canned green beans. That gives me the texture that I like for my green bean casserole. So then the other thing, and I'll add those in just a minute because those actually cook up really fast once you add them. It's basically just sort of heating it through so that you can put it in your pan, which I'm putting it in our Ultra Pro, and then pop it in the oven. But you also want to add a house seasoning. And the house seasoning is actually really, really easy. And of course, it's in my large spice containers. But it is a cup of salt, 1/4 a cup of black pepper, and then 1/4 a cup of garlic powder. Not garlic salt, but the garlic powder. So I took it, I mixed it together and divided it up into 2 of these. You're supposed to do the seasoning to taste. I have found that a teaspoon, sometimes a little bit more, is what I like taste-wise as far as that goes. So then you're going to add, and I have found I love cooking, but I don't like doing a recipe exactly the way the recipe says. I sort of like to mix and match, which is why baking is not a good fit for me at all. But you're going to take your French's crispy fried onions, and you're supposed to use a 2.8 size. I'm using half of this. I don't put all of them inside though, because I like to put some on top, and I'll show you that because I sort of cheated and I've already made one that my husband can't wait to eat when he gets home. And I'm going to show you how to finish it up so you can see all of that. But I put some of them in, and then I saved some to put on top. Now, the cheese, it's a cheddar cheese, and it's 1.5 cups of cheddar cheese. That you're supposed to put all of it in, but I only put a portion of it in, or that you're supposed to put all on top. So basically, you'll bake it for 20 minutes, and then you'll take it out, put all your cheese on top, and bake it another 10. I put 1/2 cup in before it bakes, and then I do 1 cup on the top to melt. So I like to switch it up. So when you get my recipe, that's how it's going to be. But basically, it's starting to soften up here. I don't know if you guys can see, but mushrooms and onions is probably my favorite thing to smell cooking. And it's probably one of the reasons my husband left tonight, so he didn't have to smell it, just in case it's too late for him to eat. So he's an early bird. He likes to go to bed really early. So now I'm going to put my beans in. And then, of course, you can't have any kind of casserole without having cream of mushroom soup. So this is just 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. You put that in. And then, like I said, I do about a teaspoon of my house seasoning. Shake that in. And of course, we're going to stir this up. I'm going to do half. Nope, that's for my topping. Sorry. I'm going to do half of the French's onions, which I don't know what they do to these, but I love these things. They're really good on salads too, if you get to try them on that. And then, like I said, I'm just going to do about half a cup of the cheese here. Reserve the rest for the top. And then I am actually not going to cook this one since I've already cooked another one. And a really good tip is you can take this, you can put it in the freezer, and then when you're ready for another one, you've got it nice and quick. So it's really nice. This is a great recipe to double and then cook one for now and then do a one to put into the freezer. So our dishware comes in great for that because you could probably do it in our vent and serve, freeze it, and then even cook it up in the microwave like that. But I do like this one in the oven. So we can put this in the Ultra Pro. All right, there you guys can see it's mixed up. You know what it's supposed to look like. I'm hoping the lighting's okay on that so you can see it. Now I'm gonna take my camera, since I cheated, and I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like when it's done so you don't have to wait for that. So my face may go away for a second, but this is the finished product. Green bean casserole, nice and quick. I'm gonna take my leftovers, use my hands, since it is my family. Maybe I wouldn't do this at a party, but I can do that here. And then I will scoop you guys out a serving. I wish you could smell it, but even more, I wish you could taste it. And that's my recipe for the night, green bean casserole. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, and we're going to turn it right over to Ellen.
Oh
Ellen,
my
we're gonna
goodness.
project mate demo.
That looked amazing, and I never thought about freezing it. I'm like, stop it right now. I'm all about shortcuts. All right, so we're going to talk about modular mates, and I'm here in my kitchen because I'm just going to pull them right out of my cupboard so you can see how I use them in real life. All right, and so the set I'm going to talk to you about is, it's the rectangle 2, right? And then 2 of the super oval, oh my gosh, you can't talk, super oval 2s. All right, and then let's see here, what else do I have? And then 2 of the super oval 1s and 1 of the rectangle 1s. Okay, so this is the set that is going on right now. All right, and so I'm going to tilt this down so you can see it. You don't need to see my face. All right, so this is the set that's going on right now. And it is a great baking set. And I say that because, like you see, the majority of these came out of the baking cupboard, right? So I have several different flours, right? Anymore, so many recipes. I mean, I know I'm gluten-free, okay? So I use lots of different types of flours, but I know a lot of people that use lots of different types of flours for recipes anymore. Coconut flour, tapioca flour, all that kind of good stuff. Almond flour, all right? So we need separate containers for all of our amazing flours because all of them need to be kept airtight, just like regular flour, right? And so I have them labeled because if I don't label them, then I don't know what they are, right? Now you can kind of tell if you experiment with different flours, you can kind of tell sometimes by the texture of it. But I will share with you this little tip. So on the side, I have conversions. Can you see that? Kind of a little bit. My light's too bright. All right, so I have conversions on the side. So on the package, a lot of times they have conversions. So like the tapioca flour, for every 2 tablespoons, is equivalent to 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. And tapioca flour is something that's very used. I use it the way I would use cornstarch, right? So to separate my cheese, to do things like that. I use that, right? And then the coconut flour, I use that for, you know, when you make sausage or something like that, and you, or chicken, and you're gonna bread it, not bread it, but just like flour it, dredge it in flour. I like to use the coconut flour for that. It has a great consistency. It adds a little bit of flavor, but it also almost adds a little bit of like a graininess to it, but it's a good graininess. Like, so it gives you a nice little crisp there. All right, so you see how I have them stacked here, right? Because the rectangles, right? You can fit 2 of these super ovals on the rectangles, right? And so you can just kind of stack them and organize them however they'll fit in your cupboards. So I have a cupboard up here, right, that I pulled the baking stuff out of, because my baking cupboard's up here because I don't do a lot of baking, right? Which is what makes Madre Made so perfect for me, because I don't use flour a lot. I don't use baking things a lot. So I want them to last longer. I don't want them to be bad every time I go to use them, right? And so, so I had those right up there, right? But then you see I have pull-out cabinets, right? So I have this is our pantry. This is our pantry. So my Tupperware is down here and my seals are here. This is actually it's funny. So my shelves are separated in gluten-free and non-gluten-free. But we do so much that's either gluten-free or naturally gluten-free. It's all kind of started to bleed over. And so a lot of these things on the shelf, with the exception of the oats and some goldfish crackers, are gluten-free, but I have everything nice and labeled, even like, you know, my pastas and things like that. But it starts with a set like this. When you start with a nice starter set, you can start playing with it. And once you start putting things into your modular mates, you're going to be like, oh, I wish I had another one this size. I use this super oval 2 a lot. I use it for a lot of things. I don't use the super oval one as much. So having 2 of these is perfect. But if I bought this set as my starter set, I probably would buy multiples of this size, that rectangle 2, and I would buy multiples of this size. So the next time they were on sale individually, those are the ones I would go for, right? Because this rectangle 2 is also what you can use for your Cheetos. I think my girlfriend Loretta, she calls it the Eatos box, right? Cheetos, Tostitos, Doritos, right? All those things can go in here for a normal size bag of chips, right? So I've got a big family, and I've got 2 teenagers that are just eating like crazy. So we buy the big bags of chips. So they go up into a rectangle 4. All right. But let me show you this. So I love my modular mates. I not only love them in the kitchen, but I love them all over the house, and I love modular mates inside modular mates. I'll show you how. All right, so I'm going to show you this. This is actually a rectangle 3, but you could do this same thing that I've done here in a rectangle 2, right? And so I actually have an oval down inside of here to hold these bars where they're supposed to be. And then these bars are able to sit right beside them, right? And then I'm able to put these little go-go's back here. And so this is like James's lunch snack bar box, right? And so I labeled them. I labeled them 1, 2, and 3. So we joke and call the kids, you know, those trays. And so I just labeled their boxes 1, 2, and 3. So James actually has 2 boxes because he just does more on the go snacking in his lunch, and he has to have snacks for school, all that good stuff, right? But my other 2 just have smaller boxes, right? With like oatmeal and there's stuff that they snack around the house in. So you see how creative you can get with all of your modular mates throughout the house and in the kitchen. But it always starts with one set. You can't do your whole cupboards, right? I mean, you can, but it helps to start with one set, because then, like I said, as you're dumping stuff in, you're going, oh, I bet my granola cereal would fit into this, and it probably would, because that granola cereal is so darn small, right? Or crackers or things like that. And this bottom box, a lot of people, and we use it, I see it just says cookies on here, and so sometimes it has Oreos in there, right? Because it's a perfect size for Oreos, because that resealable pouch, it does nothing, right? That does not just resale anything. I don't know who they're fooling. But this time it's got gluten-free crackers in there, right? And so it always just kind of, or gluten-free cookies, actually, they're graham crackers. So I'm hoping someone's going to make me a gluten-free cheesecake. All right, so so they're just cookies right there. And then this one does not have a label because a lot of times if I do like elbow noodles or anything like that, I use like half the box. This is a perfect size for the other half of the box. So I don't label it. I just kind of have it on hand so that when that happens, I can just like go ahead, dump half the box and then dump the other half in here and I'm ready to go. And all of your seals are interchangeable for your various super ovals and rectangles and all that good stuff. So a lot of times people don't buy all of the Modulamates that they need all at once. And so sometimes they have different colored seals, which you see here, right? And that's okay, right? Some people that really like things super duper organized and they want everything the same color. And I think someday I might be that person. But right now I'm more about the convenience. And so I don't worry necessarily about the colors. Now I did have a customer who color coded all of her food. And the blue meant go ahead and you can have unlimited snacks out of what's in a blue container. The red meant stop and you have to ask mom. I was like, holy cow, you're super organized. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I need to come to your house. Actually, you need to come to my house and organize my house, right? But you see how everything can be nice and tidy. And it's the thing that's so great about having Modulamates. And then also you see here, I just kind of, this is one of those super oval ones. And I just have packets inside of there standing up in my cupboard there. And so there's so many different things you can do with it. And when you have one set and you start playing around with the different sizes, how they fit in your cupboards, all those good things, it's amazing. And this rectangle and the super oval, it is the depth of a standard American standard, something like that, cupboards, right? So when you put these in, let me show you. There we go. When you put these in, they go right to the front of the cupboard. And so you don't have any extra space in there. Now, if I had, one of the other ones, you would have space in front of there. What I like to be able to open my cupboard and just see what's in there without having to move a box or a can or something like that. It just makes it nice and easy. And we're visual people. And so we remember what that looks like, right? We remember like what's up in that cupboard, where we keep it and how much is left. Like I need tapioca flour. I don't have very much, right? All right, so you will love having Modulamates. And so for those of you that are consultants and maybe you're newer or you haven't had the opportunity to Modulamate your cupboards yet, now's the time to go ahead and get a set, just even just one set of these Modulamates that are on sale, so that you can get them in and start using them in your kitchen, because when you use them, you will sell them. You will love them, because until I Modulamated my cupboards, I didn't get it. Like I didn't get why people loved Modulamates so much and went so crazy every time they were on sale. But now I totally get it. And I love reorganizing them. I love going in and making sure everything has a home where it is and it's labeled and it's ready to go. The cupboard's been acting funny all day. There we go. And so, so definitely take the time to invest in your business and invest in your kitchen, okay? And get some of these Modulamates so that you'll be able to talk to your friends about them. And so you'll be able to experience it, because when you experience it, it's a whole nother level of selling, right? It just makes it so much more sincere. And when you have that experience and you love them. When I first started Tupperware, I kept getting them for free. And I was like, I just kept putting them in the base. I'm like, I don't need these things. I don't need these things. And then finally, after I'd cleaned out my cupboards three times, right? In like 3 months. And there were like 4 open boxes of my favorite crackers. They were all stale. There's crumbs and stuff everywhere. Several times things fell out of the cupboard on me or spilled out onto the countertops. I was like, maybe there's something to these Modulamate things that are really crazy about. And then I started using them. And trust me, when you use them, you won't be sorry.
All right. Thank you so much, Ellen. That was awesome. And I just have a question for you. With being gluten-free, the Modulamates have to be a game changer for you. Storing yeah.
Because there's so many different flours and mixes and things like that. And it makes it so much easier. And it's nice and tidy. That's the reason why we did a gluten-free shelf and a gluten shelf, because sometimes, because this has like goldfish crackers, but it's not like they spill out everywhere. It's just maybe like a couple crumbs, and I can just wipe it down and then it's sanitized again and it's gluten-free and I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, it's awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Excellent demo. Excellent. Okay. And now we're going over to Nancy. Take it away, Nancy.
Hi, everybody. First of all, I was going to be doing Turkey Tuesdays. So I was going to go get a fresh turkey, and Giant Eagle are not getting fresh turkeys till the end of the week. And so I texted Pam and said, Pam, I can't get a fresh turkey, so I can't do Turkey Tuesday. I could do Chicken Tuesday. So anyway, next week, I will be showing you how to cook, clean, prepare, and cook a turkey, a real turkey, because then I could use it for Thanksgiving. But you know, with COVID right now, a lot of people are not getting together with their families. And so if you're not getting together and you want a turkey dinner or a chicken dinner, tastes pretty much the same, you can do it so simple and so fast for your family of 2 or your family of 4 in our stack cooker. And so what I'm going to show you, I bought a little 5-pound chicken. And next week, I'm going to show you how to really clean it out. But you do need to make sure you always clean your chickens and turkeys, because there's a little bit of gooky blood inside, and you get your finger in the groove of the bones and clean that all out. Now, my mother always said if I didn't do that, I'd get sick. Well, I think you probably won't get sick because of today's preservatives and stuff in the food, but you always want to make sure it's really clean. But in the stack cooker, you know, you can do this a couple different ways. Now, the stack cooker is designed to cook a meal in 25 minutes or less. Anytime you're cooking meat, you do it 6 minutes a pound. And because this has bone in it, I'm going to cook it probably 35 minutes, but I don't want to cook it all at the same time in 35 minutes. So you put it in for 25 minutes, I'll bring it out a little bit and then put it back in for another 10, because I think the extreme heat, cooking it too long, may damage the product. But my stack cooker, the 3-quart, was broken. So when they replaced it, I have a blue one now. So I have a little bit different colors, but it's still a great product. And in the stack cooker, if you want to do a little chicken like this, you can do it 2 ways. You can take the colander and put the colander down inside the 3-quart, because with this product, you get a 3-quart casserole, you get a colander, you get a 1 3/4 casserole, and you get a cover. And so if you're doing the chicken in this one, you just put it down in here and all your juices will drip down to the bottom. And that's what you make your gravy out of. Don't go buy the jars of gravy for $2.50 or $3. You can make gravy so simple from all the drippings from your chicken or turkey, or you can take for $1. These are on sale at Giant Eagle, the College Inn. Now there's more salt in a can of chicken broth than there is in the box. So if you want to not have it so salty, then you want to get the box of chicken broth. But these are on sale for $1. And then all you do to make gravy, okay, is you take your Quick Shake and you put flour and water, which is what the Quick Shake was originally designed for 100 years ago. I could never make gravy without it because the little blender inside breaks up the flour with the water. And when you do that with your gravy, you just put it on the stove and boil a whole can of your broth, put your flour and your water in there, and then you have delicious gravy. Okay, and this is delicious gravy, and it's so cheap to make. And you know, chicken gravy and turkey gravy are real light colored, and I like a darker color. Buy a little Gravy Master, pour it in, and you've got delicious, I don't know if you can see this without it spilling, dark gravy that looks more like a beef gravy, but it's chicken. So tonight, I could put this in here, and then you take the 1 3/4 quart and you cover it like this and you roast it in there 6 minutes a pound. But it's so much more fun to take the cone, and you take this wonderful cone and you put it down inside. Now that's how you make your cakes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little chicken and I'm going to just shove this up its little wazoo, and just like this, okay, just rest it on there like that. And he's just sitting there all hanging out. And now I'm going to season it really good with seasonings. And then I'm going to put it in the microwave. So when you do that, that's like 30 minutes, and you can have your whole dinner for your family of 2 or 4 ready in minutes. And then you want to season it. Now, this will not brown in the microwave, but I hope there's enough time so it comes out, I can come back and show you how it falls apart off the bone. So I have a little onion powder, and I also always use poultry seasoning to season, because poultry seasoning adds a really good flavor to chickens and turkeys. So I always use poultry seasoning. This is a little bit of garlic powder, okay? And as you see, I just dumped a little pepper and a little kosher salt. I usually don't salt. Kosher salt is not as salty, And so I always use kosher salt. It's a real coarse salt and it doesn't have the saltiness that you have when you use regular salt. And Old Bay. Old Bay is the greatest seasoning for just about anything, whether you're using pork or chicken or turkey or whatever you're using. And so I just put that all over the top. Okay. And then now I pour a little butter over it. I know that's because I'm who I am. And you probably should not do that. But oh my goodness, okay. It makes it so much more moist. Then you take the 1 3/4 quart casserole and you just cover this up. And we're gonna put that in the microwave for just 25 minutes. I'll take it out, put it back in for about 10, and we'll come back and show you. Now, also, you can take and make this whole dinner in Tupperware, because next week I'm going to show you how to make real stuffing with the stuffing bread, which is the best in the world, the Schweibel stuffing bread. I'm going to show you how to go from scratch and make my grandma's stuffing with the turkey. But I have made stuffing tonight to go with this dinner. Now, Bill just got home from work. He's still working crazy at the election board. So he just got home from work. So this is our dinner tonight. But you can take a bag of herb seasoned stuffing. Now, if you like the cubes, use the cubes. I use just the regular broken up pieces. And on the back is a recipe. And you take a cup of celery and a cup of onion and you cook it in 4 tablespoons of butter, of course, in Tupperware Chef Series cookware on the stove. You can do it in the microwave as well, but you want to make sure that you bring that to a boil. After you cook the celery and the onion until it's well cooked, you put 2 cups, which this is a little bit less, but it worked, of chicken broth in there and bring it to a full boil. And after you bring it to the full boil, you just add this whole bag of stuffing. You take a little fork and you fluff it up and you have stuffing. So you can make stuffing so easy to go with your gravy, to go with your chicken. And then you want to use your steamer, your multi-cooker. This is the Smart Steamer, the middle part of your multi-cooker. And I always do my potatoes in here. You put your water in the water tray, you put your potatoes inside here, and you cook your potatoes in the microwave. And then the best thing is, because you're not making a lot, you can beat them right up in your whipping mix, because you put your butter and your milk in first and you beat your mashed potatoes. So now you have mashed potatoes, stuffing, gravy in 30 minutes. Oh my gosh, and turkey's on the table. So I want to put this in the microwave, and then if we have time, we'll come back and I'll show you how delicious this chicken really comes out. Okay, bye everybody.
Woo! Thank you so much. That was awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Here's the deal, guys.